Are you cynical about Santa, joyless about jingle bells, mad about mistletoe? Or you're just fed up seeing Elf on the Shelf on Facebook all the time? Well, it's time to take up your tankards, pick up your medieval horn, because today we're going to be finding out all about the history of an English Christmas. Okay, for this episode of Mr. Keet on Location, I've come to spend some time with the Broadwood Morris dancing troupe, or our dancing side, and we're just about to go on in Durrant's retirement home in Faygate. Morris dancing is a type of folk dance that has its roots in over 500 years of European history. It can trace its origins back to the coast of North Africa and supposedly derives from Moorish dancing, a name given to that style of dancing that became popular on the continent during the Tudor times. Today there are many groups in England which meet regularly to celebrate the rich and diverse traditions that Morris dancing has to offer. So here's Dick, who's been Morris dancing for...
Too long, about 44 years, I think.
And you help now to organise the rehearsals, and what's the official title of your
I'm
role?
a foreman, so I sort of teach the dances and just generally keep an eye on the standard, keep everyone up to standard.
Excellent, and accompanied by the Dragon of Faygate as well. So could you tell us a bit about the purpose of...
This is actually the actual Faygate, which is just one of the offspring of the Faygate Dragon.
Right.
The Faygate Dragon, of course, is lurked around Faygate and in the forest, into St Leonard's Forest. Of course, there are lots of dragons in the forest, so the actual Faygate Dragon is quite old now, several hundred years, so he doesn't come out so much. But Morris sides traditionally have sort of characters such as animals. They might have a horse or a dragon, or they have a Betsy, which is a man-woman character. But it's one of those people who just keep the crowds entertained between the dances. And this is the little baby dragon.
And there it is, with boggly eyes and everything. The Broadwood Morris side also has its own distinct history. It was founded in the 1970s when a group of enthusiasts came together to try and bring Morris dancing to the area. Its emblem derives from a story that affected Captain Broadwood, who was a member of the family that gave the Broadwood Morris men their name. The pine cones on the tree represent the robbers which confronted Captain Broadwood as he trudged through the snow in the Swiss mountains. And speaking of trees, the Morris men aren't just keen on dancing. They also preserve two ancient English traditions, one of which is the Anglo-Saxon tradition of wassailing the apple tree. So we've got here our apple tree. It's looking a bit desolate. It's only produced one apple the whole harvest, and it's very cut back at the moment because it's winter and all the leaves are blown away. But we need to wassail this apple tree into the new year to ensure that it produces a good, wholesome crop of apples, because inside this trunk, inside the very roots of the tree itself, lie demons. If you come closer here, you might be able to see some of these demons in the tree. And what we need to do now is to drive them out. And to drive them out, we need to choose the one thing that demons hate the most. So what we do now is we pour the cider onto the soil beside the apple tree, and what that means for the demons is it drives them up the tree to the branches. So let's have a go. While we might smile at Sainsbury's dry cider being used to drive out demons from an apple tree, we must remember that folk religion was a huge deal in the Anglo-Saxon world and ran alongside a belief in the Christian God. But if we come down to the roots of the tree, we can hear that the demons are still there. They haven't gone, despite the smell of the cider. So the one thing we need next is something to attract them to the branches of the tree, whereby birds can carry them off. And to do this, we need to use the type of food that demons love best. So we take the toast, put it in the branches of the tree, and we wait for some demons to come up through the branches, escaping the smell of the cider, attracted to the smell of the toast, and eventually be carried off when some birds come and eat the toast from the tree. But there's an even more peculiar tradition than using dry cider and toast to lure out demons from an apple tree, and that is the Mummer's Play. In comes I, old Father Christmas. Welcome or welcome not, I hope that Father Christmas will never be forgot. In comes I, St. George, man of courage bold. Broadsword and spear won me 10 pounds of gold.
Comes I, the valiant soldier. Oh, Lasher is my name. With my broadsword in my hand, I mean to win this game.
My man, he lies bleeding on the ground. Oh, is there a doctor?
Look, Pricer, that's the rub. A penny towards the rent, and a halfpenny towards the grub. Pricer, and my old bell will ring. Put what you like in this old
The Mummer's
pan,
Play was
and then
performed
these
by a
chaps
travelling
will
band
sing.
of beggars who would go from town to town, searching out wealthy households from which they could extract money or food to tide them over the Christmas season. The beggars wore what was called a tatty coat to disguise themselves from being seen by their friends and families in the villages. The story of the play itself varies from place to place depending on where it's performed, but most frequently takes the shape of St. George vanquishing a Turkish foe. The story is begun by Father Christmas introducing the plot and the play, and is wrapped up by a beggar going round and collecting in money from the audience. The first evidence of a Mummer's Play comes from the late 1400s, while the word mummer itself means tramp or traveller. The purpose of the Mummer's Play, therefore, may well give us an insight into the hardships of Christmases long ago. Now, some of you might be watching this and be thinking that dancing around with bells on your ankles to the sound of an accordion is a bit of an acquired taste. But before we make any judgments, let's have a listen to the Morris dancers themselves as to why they enjoy this ancient English tradition. Okay, so I've got here Terry, who's going to tell us a bit about what he loves about Morris dancing and how long he's been doing it for.
Well, I started Morris dancing in 1982. I danced with a side in Worthing called Something Village Morris. I danced with the side for probably about 9 years. A lot of people, it's part of their Christmas, really. And it's certainly part of my Christmas. And my family's Christmas. They all come and support us, and it's really good fun.
Well, I got involved in Morris dancing quite a number of years ago. But prior to that, I'd actually seen the Hells Angels on a charity run at Kelshilton Hospital, dancing with scaffolding poles and chains, and I thought, being a biker myself, if it's good enough for them chaps, it's good enough for me.
So the Hells Angels got you involved in Morris dancing,
Well,
triggered the spark?
Even a samurai's a soft side.
April here is as part of the local Magog group, is that right, April?
I am, yes.
And she's going to tell us a bit about the Morris dancing from the female perspective.
Right, well, Morris dancing was recorded first of all in about the 1300s, 1400s, and in Samuel Pepys' diaries and some of Shakespeare's writings, there is record made of bawdy Morris men and women. And in fact, at some wedding celebrations, it's recorded that Morris women were dancing. And it's continued pretty much through the centuries, really. Although in Victorian days, I think it was frowned upon a little bit. Women weren't expected to go dancing in the streets. But modern Morris dancing was recorded by Cecil Sharp and Lucy Broadwood at the beginning of this century, and it's continued pretty much since then.
And how long have you been Morris dancing?
40 years.
40 years. So what do you enjoy the most about it now then?
I enjoy the dancing, I enjoy the social aspect, helps to keep you fit as well. So, and it's just the music and the dance. Once you start, you can't stop.
Oh, thank you very much, April. Thank you.
Don't you pretty please, he howled, I don't know where you read it, but anyway, I never said it. Jimmy, replied the angry saint, it isn't I, it's you that ain't.
You've been doing Morris dancing for how many years?
Oh, since 1972.
And what's kept you doing it then? Why do you keep coming back for more?
Mainly friendship with these wonderful fellows.
Be honest, it's beer.
No. When you start, you're very active, and it's a social more than anything else. And it does keep us fit. Let's face it. I think we're all quite proud if we get to the point where we think we're good dancers. But unfortunately, as one gets older, then because of where we dance, mainly out on the streets, of course, with the heavy ground down there, we're landing very heavily because the young Morris dancers jump extremely high. Like when we were young. We're glad to see you here at Maypole. We haven't mentioned the reason why we're here tonight. We're here tonight because of Maypole's to Mistletoe, which actually started in 1972 as well. So Maypole's and the Broadwood men are linked. But and of course the Broadwood men and Magog ladies who you see tonight, who dance at Christ Hospital, of course, don't they? On May Day. Yeah. They've been doing it ever since then.
So you saw it here, Maples to Mistletoe 2019. We don't know the dates yet, but make sure you come to that. A modern English Christmas is very different from that of 1,000 years ago and the time of the Anglo-Saxon Wassail. Along the way, we've picked up some traditions which still remain, such as bringing the Christmas tree inside, singing carols, perhaps going carol singing. But what's great about groups such as the Broadwood Morris is that those traditions which have perhaps fallen by the wayside just a bit are preserved as a shared historical heritage for us to enjoy. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, it's a Merry Christmas from them.
Merry Christmas!
And it's a Merry Christmas from me. I'll see you in 2019.